For the past year, I've really been fixated on the idea of reinventing myself. Rebrand. I just think it's something powerful in the idea that we always have the opportunity to assess where we are and what direction we actually want to go in. It's exciting though, because every year I'm in a different space working towards a different objective. And after the year that we just had, being on lockdown and just like COVID and just like the whole pandemic, I just think that it was really important for me to go back to the basics.
Because anytime anybody does what their dream is or do what's in their heart, that's the most political thing you could do. You know, I can't change the world, but I can change myself, and I can influence the world by what I do, you know. So it's the most political thing you could do is when you do your own thing, okay? It's true. It's very true. It's the most powerful thing, too. When you become the image of your own imagination, it's the most powerful thing you could ever do, you know, because ain't no stopping you. You know, in my mind's eye, I've always been a superstar, you know,
right.
And nobody couldn't tell me no different, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you believe it, then they'll believe it, they'll buy it.
I want to move along my journey with optimism and courage.
So I made a list of all of the things I wanted to intentionally focus more on this year. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Guys, managing my emotional response to whatever situation, whatever circumstances I'm in has literally made my life so much more enjoyable. We've spent so much time waiting, I think, for things to go back to normal when normal was never normal.
I think that one of the repercussions of being on lockdown for the past year is that many of us have lost the value of time. I don't want my entire life to be some waiting game.
I don't think we've been in more need of intentionality in our lives than right now in this present moment.
I am not going to wait for the world to change or get better on my behalf. I am not going to wait to start that project. And if that requires me to be productive and creative in my apartment, well, so be it.
I spent way. When you see that hand do that. No, seriously though, I spent way too much time reminiscing on the past, especially during quarantine where we didn't have a choice but to be on lockdown and to sit and to think. And I cannot say that sitting there thinking about the past and what could and should and woulda and shoulda has helped me in any way. I just learned to be more present and in the moment. One of my affirmations, I actually have it as my screensaver, is life is now. Life is now. And it's really just to remind me that like life is fucking now. It doesn't matter what you did 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, no, like life is right now, you know, and you can change your circumstances right now. What do you need a plan B for when you know what it is you want? Like deep down, deep motherfucking down, you know what it is that you want, right? Like I feel like when you make a decision, you know. You know, but then comes your ego, then comes your hating ass friends, then comes your family who never did what they wanted to do, and so they're telling you that you shouldn't do it. And that's simply more to say, you know, not to question myself, because I know that deep down I know what I want. And I just made a conscious decision that, you know, regardless of what my circumstances were, regardless of what was practical to somebody else, I was gonna stand firm in my decisions. No more plan Bs. No more plan Bs. Not the peel, but you know what I mean. Whatever it is that I desire or that feeds my soul, I'm just gonna do it. We a lot of times have too much emphasis on the outcome and the end goal. But why not? I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Whatever lights my soul on fire. It doesn't have to be a business that becomes a list company. It doesn't have to go to that extent for you to invest your time and energy into it. You know what I mean? Like, if you love it, you enjoy it, that's enough. I love painting. I've never thought about painting. I mean, I painted in high school because the class I needed to pass to graduate. But outside of that, I haven't thought about fucking painting. But my best friend, one day he came over, we was just chilling, we had wine, I had just moved to my place and I didn't have my cable yet. And so he was like, hey, I bought this canvas, I bought paint, we should paint and just like kind of like vibe out, listen to music. And when I tell you, it was so therapeutic. So now I paint. It's like, it doesn't have to have an end result.
With today's canceled culture imposed on us, it's very similar to the herd mentality. Just like a herd of animals, herd mentality aims towards sameness and comfort. People often subconsciously think and behave in ways that conform with the moral code, which is essentially society's standards that's been fabricated by individuals, groups, the government, your family, etc., and then imposed on us to have control over our human behavior, which a lot of times subconsciously limits your individuality and creativity. Society can be really harsh against anyone who has opposing views. Morality is preached in a very illiberal way in our communities, the church, even our educational system. They control the majority of the people that don't want to stand out from the group in fear of being rejected. People are afraid of the unknown, and that is perfectly mirrored in our everyday lives, going all the way back to them hanging Jesus because he claimed to be a king. So anybody who's doing a little bit too much or stands out from the crowd, they are considered to society to be dangerous and terrifying. When I began to create without seeking the need of anyone's validation, when I began to stay true to myself instead of following trends, when I really just did me and stayed in my lane, when I began to be instead of trying to be, I truly aligned with my true inner being, the real me, and I was able to tap into my purpose.
That concludes my list as far as things that I want to work on to evolve and to grow from the space that I am in right now that are aligned with my goals and my aspirations. So, of course, your list is going to be a little bit different, but this is really just to give you kind of like a dialogue on some of the emphasis as far as like your character and your daily habits and your thought process. And you can critique it to your own needs, and I hope that you will. Thank you. To everyone who's watching this video right now, thank you, and I genuinely appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.
This or I'm more that, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I think I have a clear-cut direction as to where it is that I'm going, but I don't think it has to have already been mapped out. I'm not trying to follow in anybody else's footsteps. I'm trying to do my own thing.